We're excited to invite you to Room's Christmas Open House, November 6th through the 8th. Visit our in-store gift shop featuring Peter's Pottery. Enjoy refreshments, door prizes, discounts, and so much more. We can't wait to see you.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Hello and happy Tuesday. Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor, and we are tracking another day with beautiful conditions here in North Mississippi. So if you've not been able to get outside today, there is still a few more hours, but darkness is setting in at time change, definitely making night move in a little bit quicker. Matt will take us live in the sky here in just a moment to walk through those dry conditions as well as show us a perspective on that sunset. Already seeing it there in our Tupelo Tower cam, but some storms are possible for Friday. So this dry weather does not last forever. That next frontal movement will push in by Friday, and then a following front pushes in by Sunday, and that's where things will really start to cool off heading into parts of next week. So honestly, right now, temperature is not too shabby. Next week, have those layers. But like I mentioned at the top, our chief meteorologist Matt Laupon out in the field showing us a view high in the sky. Matt, what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, right now we're still kind of adjusting to the fact the conditions are clear and dry. We expect we're going to have some rain chances later this week. We have had to adjust our Friday football game, our typical Mississippi Live game of the week. We've adjusted that forward to Thursday night. So voting is going to wrap up this evening. And just one note on that. While we have some thunderstorm chances, we're not convinced on the severity of that, and that is something our meteorologist Gabe Maynor will be looking at in more detail coming up here just a little bit later on this broadcast. As Gabe kind of alluded to it, the dry conditions making for some pretty good weather as far as spotting color in the trees are concerned. Of course, I'm here at the house outside of my mobile broadcast facility. Of course, we have a lot of different colors in the trees here showing up. A lot of the hickory starting, well, I got to pan over toward a hickory if I'm going to say it. A pan over there toward one of the good hickories starting to show more of the oranges and yellows. I think that's something a lot of folks starting to see in theirs. But that time change still kind of playing havoc with the fact that, I mean, at least for me, still adjusting to how it's still, I mean, getting dark so early there. But that sun's still at the western horizon right there as we look kind of back toward the west from near the Saltillo area. Might as well zoom that in and see if we can get a slightly closer shot if I pan the camera up just a little bit more to get a look at that. Again, beautiful shot of the only clouds we have on the horizon there, way off in the distance on this beautiful evening here, this Tuesday evening. But the tree line itself starting to show, again, a greater bit of color, but a lot of those oaks still probably have a little ways to go before they end up reaching their main maturity and peak there. But certainly that's what November is for, Gabe, right? Getting the more color in the trees, but dry conditions for now, hence the reason we're able to get this Mississippi Live drone up. But obviously later this week, things start to change. From north of Tupelo, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon for Mississippi Live Weather. Gabe?
Going to come. There we go. Matt, a very cool shot, and I would say, hey, let's run it back at 6, but it might be too dark to even do that. It's just that time change, making nightfall move in so much quicker, and it's taken some getting used to because when you walk out the door and you expect it to be, you know, the sun setting and you still get a little bit more of that daylight. No. Dinner plans are going to be having a shade of nightfall as well. As you can see right there, first 12 showcasing those nighttime conditions even by 6 p.m., 61 degrees. And since night is moving in that much sooner, that means cold temperatures are following suit as well. 52 there by 9, upper 40s in place by midnight. And heading towards tomorrow morning, we'll be back into the low 40s. But you might notice it's a little bit warmer than where things sat at this morning and much warmer than where things sat at even 2 mornings ago. So shows you that gradual warming trend that we've been hinting at all week long, and that'll continue to get warmer as we head further into our week ahead. Aberdeen, a great shot there of the sunset. Honestly, Matt, I mean, this would go head to head with your sunset there in North Tupelo. 63 degrees right now, but dew points currently at 55, showing a little bit of that moisture returning to the forecast, and that could set the scene for a little bit more of an active pattern by the time we get towards Friday. Crenshaw, another great shot looking out there towards the south and east. So this isn't even the pure sunset area. We need to look primarily to the west, but I mean, still getting those hues of orange, yellow, pink, blue, everything. Golly, it's such a great sight. 68 degrees. This This is where I don't mind the sunset being earlier because we're able to view it during the show, but definitely going to be nightfall whenever I'm heading out to dinner, and same thing for you guys out there. Mississippi Live Weather Radar showing nothing in regards to precipitation here in North Mississippi. So again, those dry conditions reign supreme, and that is really evident whenever we talk about our water vapor imagery. As you can see right here, those oranges indicative of that drier air there on the left side of your legend, and that's in place all across the Mid-South and even into the Southeast. So a large portion of us keeping with those dry conditions, and those rain chances primarily going to be up there around the Wichita and Denver area over there towards Kansas and Colorado. So we're fortunate that we are in this ridging pattern, allowing for us to enjoy those plans outside. And if you have not done so, you are missing out on a great forecast, but there is still time to do it as that ridging pattern remains in place even for the next couple of days. If we expand things out and look at our surface analysis here real quick, if it lets me, there we go. That high pressure is still dominating the south and southeast. We do have a little bit of that other high pressure out there towards New Mexico and Arizona. That is going to start to be moved a little bit more east as that front moves further into the central part of the United States and more into North Mississippi. But if you look out there in the Pacific, this is our frontal system of concern that will be pushing into North Mississippi, giving us our next chances of rainfall by Friday. So this front, yes, it gets close to North Mississippi, maybe even clearing North Mississippi by the time we get into our Wednesday evening, but that not going to be impactful in regards to moisture. At most, you can see what we're going to be getting is just going to be a good bit of that cloud cover, and that's primarily going to remain north of us before a very linear segment moves into North Mississippi. But even then, we're talking mostly sunny to maybe partly cloudy conditions by the time we get into our Wednesday afternoon. So the next 24 don't have much in regards to cloud cover. It's really just an hour, 2 hours where we'll have a line of clouds move into the area, but by then, we're still getting that dominant sunshine in North Mississippi, keeping our temperatures warm towards the afternoon. As you can see, 43 climbing all the way up to 74. But once that front fully clears, we could be in for another cool start to our Thursday, but the cool conditions really push in place heading into early next week. We'll have a full breakdown of that coming up in the next 60, as well as a look at Friday's rain chances, because that really is our next weather maker. And if you do have those gardens that are holding on for dear life and all of these cool and frosty conditions, well, we all still need rainfall, and that's where Friday could be a fortunate thing. We'll look at the latest breakdown of that and the strong weather potential, if it's even still there, coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 here in the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60. Well, welcome back. Hang on a second. I think we skipped over something. Bear with me one moment behind the scenes.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Just beautiful shots across North Mississippi. Big thank you to the North Mississippi Storm Chasers for allowing us to use their cameras, because we're getting great views on every single horizon with those clear skies still remaining in place. Starkville coming in with 63 degrees, but that dew point 54 shows a little bit of that replenishing of that moisture. Still not overly high, but at least not in the upper 30s, low 40s like what we had a couple of days ago. Down there at MSU, I know they're preparing for a big game day heading into this Saturday, and we'll of course have the latest updates on that forecast coming up throughout the week, but should be a good one against the Georgia Bulldogs. Battle of the Bulldogs. Who comes out on top? Well, we'll find out Saturday. Oxford, 63 degrees as well, and Lafayette County looking with 50-degree dew points. So again, that moisture replenishing all across North Mississippi, but my word, do you get a better sunset than that? I think, You know, I'm a Bulldog, but I think the Rebels win the sunset battle tonight. That is an impressive shot out there, and I know folks over there in Lafayette County, if they're getting on some of those higher elevations, able to see off in the distance, not going to be disappointed by those views. Mississippi Live weather radar cycling this back over the last hour. Debated on cycling it back over the last 48 hours because it's been quite a bit since we've tracked anything in the form of rainfall. As you can see over the past 2 days, rainfall totals at 0 and will continue to be at 0 as this week continues on. If we expand things out, you can really get a visual of some of that rainfall out there towards Georgia and Huntsville. This, of course, happening nearly 48 hours ago, so just on the outskirts of it, but that system progressed all the way into the Atlantic, and that's where those better rain chances happen off there towards Wilmington and on there towards the Myrtle Beach area. So over here, just a dry forecast, and that's how things have been all across the Mid-South from North Mississippi all the way west into New Mexico. That's where things have been on the drier side, the calmer side, and will continue to be in case. So Futurecast, not really highlighting too much in the form of rainfall as you see this evening, staying on the drier side of things, but the winds are shifting, and this is where we're getting more of that southerly breeze into the area, and that's replenishing just a bit of that moisture. A little bit different than where things have been, so not exactly as dry of a forecast feeling, but it's really hard to notice whenever we're seeing temperatures in the mid 60s, low 60s by this point, and cooling off into the 50s as we get into our Tuesday night. So cool conditions, those will be in place because those clear skies let that heat escape and therefore cools off our atmosphere. So even into our Wednesday morning commute, might still have that heat cranked, even if it is a few degrees warmer than where things sat for our Tuesday morning. So looking at those low temperatures, we're talking mid 40s in a lot of locations with 43 in Bruce, 45 New Albany, 44 Boonville, and 44 towards Columbus. Some low 40s trickling into the forecast down around Macon and Hamilton, but as the day continues on, we will expect those to warm up, and by the afternoon, we'll be back to those seasonable, if not a little bit above those seasonable averages. 45 degrees drop off, 69 lunch, and 73 towards that final bell. Sunshine going to be there all day long, so if you want to make any plans to get outside, once again, Wednesday looking optimal. Maybe get outside before those midweek services. Definitely can't complain about that forecast. Let's keep our Futurecast going into our Wednesday morning and afternoon, and as you can see, maybe a few clouds here and there, but overall, we'll stick with those dry conditions once again. I'm going to expand things out because there's not much to track in the form of rainfall. It's going to be this front that moves into the area for our Wednesday. As you can see, progressing closer and closer, bringing this thin line of cloud cover all the way from Jackson, Tennessee, there to Bowling Green, Kentucky. That gets into North Mississippi by noontime, but still, it's just a line of thin clouds at most that we'll be getting. No rainfall associated with it, so don't need to worry about the rain gear. Just might be a break from how much sunshine we'll be receiving throughout the day. That continues to progress through the region, but this front not exactly going to be impactful in the form of rainfall. The most that it'll do is shift our winds just a bit. As you take a look right here, we have this southerly flow on the south side of this front. Up north, we get a northerly flow. So that's, of course, bringing in some of that cooler and drier air, so drying up our atmosphere just a bit. But this front going to take a bit before it fully clears our area, and honestly not going to be enjoying too much of those dry conditions. As we know, Friday, that next system moves in place. So high temperatures Wednesday, this will continue to be the story in regards to warm air still in place. We're talking 75 Houston, 71 Boonville, 72 Holly Springs, 76 Greenwood, Belzona, and Greenville, and even down around Kosciuszko. So a warmer afternoon for our Wednesday. Again, all the more reason to get outside and enjoy it. As we keep that Futurecast going, you can see that front right overhead. Again, going to expand things out because not tracking any rainfall for your Wednesday night or for your Thursday. So we'll stay with those drier conditions, but watch this front and the progression of it as we push into our Thursday. You can see it fully clearing the area by the time we get into our Thursday morning, but before we can enjoy any of those cooler temperatures or those northerly winds cycling in some of that drier air, we get that next development. That's going to be in some cloud cover, building more into the area as we get further into our Thursday. Not really going to be overbearing in the form of moisture, but maybe a little bit more partly cloudy conditions there west of I-55. There we get some thin cloud cover there on the north side of the state, but again, no rainfall associated with it. So this is another day where we don't have to worry about grabbing the umbrella. It's a fortunate thing, but as we get further into our Thursday, a little bit of this moisture is going to replenish into North Mississippi. As you can see, that front not going to be as impactful as it's transitioned a little bit more towards the east. So those northerly winds primarily going to be in the Atlantic coast. Here in North Mississippi, southerly winds do return to the forecast, and you can kind of see setting the scene for that moisture and setting the scene for Friday, where this front and this whole frontal system will move more into North Mississippi, giving us a chance of some rain showers and even the potential for a few storms. Now, there is still a little bit of energy that'll be in place due to these southerly winds cycling in a lot of that unstable air. But in regards to strong thunderstorm development. I'm not overly sold on that as of now. It's primarily going to be the timing that's going to be most impactful with these showers, as it's going to be right around our football forecast. So that's the unfortunate part about it, and that's why we have rescheduled our game of the week to be on Thursday, picked a few Thursday night games, and it worked out to where all 3 matchups were teams that we have not seen so far this season. So we're excited to get to experience something new, even in the playoffs for some of the votes. But go ahead and go vote. Tell us where you want us to be this Thursday night, and we will be glad to be there. Excited for any option, no matter what it may be. And it's a tight race right now. Every time I look at it, there's a new person leading. So make sure to get in there. Go vote. Every vote matters, especially with the race this close. As we look at high temperatures for your Thursday, you can see that our normal is around 68 degrees. So with us seeing low to mid 70s, that's definitely abnormal for this time of year. 71 degrees there towards Corinth, 72 in Hamilton, 76 Columbus, 75 Macon, and 76 towards Kosciuszko. So yes, a cold front's moving in, but not exactly getting that colder air. Not going to be happening just yet. But if we look at that extended forecast, this is where, buckle up. It's going to be a cold one for sure. You can see us gradually warming into the weekend with 54 on Saturday, 50 by Sunday, but then that cold front on Sunday drops our temperatures 33 on Monday. Tuesday, it's not a glitch. There's a reason you can't see it. We'll see that on the 7-day here in just a moment. I didn't have a graph that was big enough for how much of a drop will take place for our Tuesday. Get another hint of that as we look at our high temperatures. 75 Saturday, dropping to 60 on Sunday, dropping to unreadable by Monday, and then 55 there for Tuesday. Let's go ahead and get into that 7-day, why don't we, and showcase those cold temperatures we'll be seeing. 50 degrees for our Monday afternoon is where we'll top out. The potential for another frosty morning for the start of our Monday, but 29. We could see the 20s for the first time here this fall season in North Mississippi. So exciting, isn't it? No, it's just going to be a time where it's going to be cold heading out the door. Bone-chilling temperatures back in the forecast, so make sure to have those coats ready. Honestly, have 3 layers, and that'll be compensating for how cold we're expecting to be for the start of our Tuesday morning. Sunshine in the forecast, though, warming us up back into the low to mid 50s. So if you were thinking, well, the cold weather's done, we had our little time, but now things are going to warm back up. Well, yes, you're right, but it doesn't last forever. We're talking 4-day stretch where things are going to be above average, but beyond that, we get below average by a mile, and it's going to be a cold one next week. Now, rain chances for Friday do linger into Saturday just a bit with some of that isolated coverage by the morning time, but we have those clearing out. So for the most part, our weekend staying on the drier side, but again, this is going to be a forecast we'll continue to monitor as the potential for some storms on Friday moves back into the forecast. Our next broadcast happening tonight at 6. We'll be walking through a little bit more on those rain chances, breaking down the atmospheric analysis on what to expect with Friday's rain chances and the potential for some severe weather. Not really expecting it, but we'll break that down here coming up tonight at 6. Go ahead and download the app to get the very latest on those forecasts, both iOS and Android, readily available, and that is also free, might I add. So what more reason do you need to go download it? Our next broadcast, like I mentioned, tonight at 6. And we do have another broadcast tonight at 10 with the latest on those rain chances. So it is going to be a lot to track as we get into the latter part of this week, despite it being a very dry and calm forecast right now. We appreciate all your guys' support. We just want to keep you guys informed and let you know what to expect in the wild world of weather here in North Mississippi. We'll see you back here in about 40 minutes.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laupon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laupon has proven himself trustworthy.